Let's do a second video update for the day. And on this update, I want to talk about all of this this activity that's taking place in Ukraine with regards to the capturing of foreign fighters, NATO fighters, mercenaries that we're seeing right now take place. I mean, we're seeing an uptick in statements from the Russian Ministry of Defense with regards to the capturing or the elimination of foreign fighters and mercenaries. The Russian Ministry of Defense came out with a statement today where they said that up to 30 militants of the Polish PMC have been eliminated in the ETHEREUM region. The Polish PMC, the Polish Military Contingent, I believe is what it stands for, the PMC. They're a fighting force that, from what I understand, reports directly to the Defense Ministry. And there's actually a Latvian PMC, a Polish PMC. This type of military contingent is something that was put together, I believe, by the Canadian command of NATO. But they report directly to their Minister of Defense. And according to the Russian Foreign Ministry, they've eliminated up to 30 of these soldiers. I can't confirm it. I haven't seen any information or documentation from the Russian Ministry of Defense either, so I just don't know. But as I've said many times, information that comes out of the Ministry of Defense, the Russian Ministry of Defense, is for the most part carefully vetted, because they want to be very accurate in their reporting. The Ministry of Defense, I'm talking about, the Russian Ministry of Defense, is very careful in what they report. So I'll leave it at that. You can decide if you believe what they're reporting or not. I don't know. I'm just telling you what they're putting out there, because we are getting an uptick in reports of foreign NATO fighters either being captured or being eliminated in Ukraine. It's a troubling development, but I think we've known since the beginning of this conflict that NATO was involved in one way or another. How involved are they? Well, we may find out we may find out when we get more information from the steel factory in Mariupol, the Azovstal. It may shed some light as to the extent of NATO's involvement in all of this. But we have images as well from I believe Chechen fighters of an American mercenary. I'm not going to post any of the images or anything like that, but this passport is floating around Telegram specifically, and so you can check that out as well. And we also have the interview given from this British mercenary, is what he's being classified as from the latest reports, that he's going to be classified as a mercenary, Aiden Aslin, that has been captured. And he gave a video interview, and it's also going around Telegram, where he said that at first he was fighting for the Ukraine military. Actually, he said he's been with the Ukraine military for 4 years. And he said at first he was fighting when the war broke out, but then he said he's not going to fight anymore because of the fact that the Ukraine military does not want peace. I mean, I'm paraphrasing what he said, and you can find his videos on Telegram. They're all over the place as well. But he said that pretty much in the beginning he was fighting with the Ukraine military, and then as the war progressed, he saw that Ukraine did not want any peace and didn't want any cessation to hostilities. And he said he's not going to fight anymore. He actually told his superiors that he doesn't want to engage in combat. But he also noted that his superiors told him that there was no way to leave, pretty much. He said he wanted to leave the military and not fight, but every time he tried to get out of the situation he found himself in, that the Ukraine military would tell him that there's no way out, pretty much, like, the city's surrounded, or you have to stay with us a little bit longer, and basically just kept on dragging on. I mean, look at his interview and judge for yourself if what he's saying is true or not. It's I can't judge it. He's saying what he's saying, and everyone can make up their mind as to what he's saying. I mean, the important point of his interviews is the fact that he obviously, I believe, he wants to be categorized as part of the Ukraine military. So he's afforded protections under the Geneva Conventions. But from what I understand, the Donetsk and the Lugansk militia is going to categorize him as a mercenary. This is the initial reports as to what I'm getting, and that's bad news if you're Aiden Aslin. Very bad news if you're him, because if you're not afforded protections as a military professional, as a soldier in the field of combat, and you're a mercenary, well, that essentially means you have no rights at all. It's not good. His parents, I think his family, I don't want to say his parents, but his family in the UK, they've actually reached out. They've tried to reach out to Putin and to the Russian military to help out in this situation with regards to Aiden, and we'll see what happens there. It all goes back to, he says he's been there for 4 years, but it all goes back, in my opinion, to how Liz Truss, the UK foreign minister, and so many of these EU leaders tried to glorify this war, and they tried to actually encourage foreigners to get involved in this conflict. Even Zelensky tried to encourage foreigners to come to Ukraine and fight. He said he'd grant them citizenship, Ukrainian citizenship, and all these types of benefits. And Liz Truss came out with statements saying, go fight. Yes, this is going to be, it's the right thing to do, and get involved. You're fighting for freedom. And they made it seem like this is going to be a cakewalk if they went to Ukraine, and they would be defeating the Russians, really, really easy. And it would be no problem. They'd be heroes, and they'd be granted all of these perks. And all of this falls squarely to blame on Western leaders and Zelensky and people like Liz Truss. This is my opinion. She was pushing these men to take part in a war that they shouldn't have taken part in, and that they had no idea of the brutality of the war, and of the professionalism and strength of the Russian military. They thought this was going to be something along the lines of Iraq and Afghanistan, not to take away from the military in Iraq or Afghanistan. Obviously, we've seen the results of Afghanistan after 20 years, so there's no doubt that they're as tough as can be. But the Russian military is at a whole different level, and we saw that play out with the missile attack in the west of Lviv that took place, say, 3 weeks ago, and just annihilated something like 220 foreign fighters, who the Russians label mercenaries. Just eliminated them in one swoop. That was it. And now you see it with statements from this guy, Aiden, and the fact that he's pretty much saying, I'm in way over my head, and I had no idea it would be like this. That was pretty much the vibe that I got from him. Anyway, you have that statement coming out, and you also have another interesting point, and I got this from the Sakers blog, which is, as they're capturing a lot of Ukraine forces, Ukraine military, and there's been a lot of military that has been captured outside of the 1,000 that surrendered. You're having the interviews of these military guys from Ukraine, and they're stating that they have no idea what's going on with regards to the battle, as a whole. I mean, it seems like they are completely disconnected from the truth of the battle and what's happening on the ground and what's happening outside of their battalion. And let me read you what the Saker blog said. And it said this: one of the key revelations of the past week was that some of the captured soldiers, the captured Ukrainian soldiers, had a complete ignorance of other major important setbacks that occurred in the same time period. It's clear they are being kept completely in the dark by their own leadership. UAF soldiers in Lugansk had no clue Mariupol was surrounded, and vice versa. POWs in Mariupol seem to have little clue as to the condition of any other part of the forces, apart from the fake psychological reinforcement that they are winning or help will arrive soon. This makes sense because there were videos out last week from the Azovstal factory, the steel factory, from the NAZIs that were trapped in that steel factory, the remaining few trapped, saying that, you know, they had a different picture as to what was going on in the war, and that now they felt betrayed and abandoned by Zelensky. And, you know, those videos came out, and those videos seemed legit. And those guys were saying, you know, Zelensky and the Ukraine military, you've abandoned us. You've left us here surrounded to face annihilation. And I think you're getting more confirmation that what you have right now in Ukraine is you have a lot of, you know, different Ukraine military forces. Each one is isolated. There's no real central communication anywhere. And the command of these isolated forces, wherever they may be, whether it's Mariupol, whether it's in the Donbass or Kharkiv or anywhere they're located, the local commanders of these forces are telling them that, you know, Ukraine is winning and everything is fine and you're going to be liberated and help is on the way. And it's a complete false narrative. These guys have no idea as to what's happening, and the fact that, you know, Mariupol has fallen, and the fact that Kherson is under Russian control, and all of these things that are happening, they're completely in the dark, and they're being led to their annihilation without them knowing it. They think they're winning, and it's terrible. What a terrible situation to be in. They're completely being misled by the Zelensky regime. Anyway, I think I'll keep this video short. One more bit of news to talk about is from Greece. The Greek Minister of Defense came out with a statement and said that there are no more weapons to give to Ukraine. He said that they've already shipped over four plane loads full of weapons, and he said any more weapons shipped to Ukraine would weaken Greece's security, and they just don't have any more to give. So looks like the Greek Defense Ministry is finally coming to their senses and waking up to the reality of the situation. You know, all of Europe, all of the EU has gutted their military stockpiles, and there's actually a report in Bloomberg. Actually, I think I might have bookmarked it. Let me see if I bookmarked it here. All right, I have to check. I always have to check the streets. I'm walking and I'm talking and I'm reading. Yeah, this is from Bloomberg. They said that the U.S. may deplete its own stockpiles of weapons due to military assistance to Ukraine. The United States providing military assistance to Ukraine risks losing a significant part of its own stockpile of weapons, while not being able to quickly increase production. This is what Bloomberg analyst Hal Brands said in a recent article. I think I said this last week. Biden is depleting the U.S. his petroleum reserves. He's depleting those. He's depleting America's weapon stockpiles. I mean, this is... It seems like the EU and the US, they've decided that Ukraine is the hill that European countries and the United States are going to die on. That's the hill that they've chosen. NATO, the US, EU. Ukraine is going to be the hill that they're going to make their last stand. And with it, the globalist world order, it seems, and most likely the USD as well. So they've chosen Ukraine as their last stand as well. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. My hunch is that something big is about to happen in Donbass. The Russian military seems like they're ready, and it looks like we might be getting towards some sort of finality, at least with regards to the East Ukraine. And after the Donbass battle, however long that may take, some people are saying it could take weeks. Others are saying it could take months. I don't know. But when we reach a conclusion there, we'll have to see what Kiev and the Zelensky regime will do. Anyway, that's the video, guys. TheDuran.locals.com. Take care.